The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. I'm Sister Charlene Mohammed. Welcome to Liberated Sisters TV, live right here from Morris Media Studios in Leimert Park. Today we pay tribute to our brother, our friend, Brother Louis Farrakhan Jr. Brother Louis Farrakhan Jr. is the eldest son of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and Mother Khadijah Farrakhan. Brother Louis passed away peacefully in his sleep at the family home in Phoenix, Arizona. Today, paying tribute to our dear Brother Louis Jr. is Minister Abdul Akbar Muhammad. He is the international representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. But first, we will hear from Brother Nuri Muhammad with today's Liberated Sisters Justice Report. And is Brother Nuri on? Wonderful. So today's Justice Report is going to be coming right out of the case in Alabama with the Waffle House assault, police assault. But here's Brother Nuri now with today's Liberated Sisters Justice Report. Brother Nuri, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Sister Charlene. It's an honor to be on the great Liberated Sisters show once again with the Justice Report.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for being with us for the Justice Report. And Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Kareem.
Thank you. Now, Brother Nuri, let us know, for those who may not know, what happened at the Waffle House in Alabama. We're talking about the case of Sister Shakisha Clemens. What happened, and give us an update on why you went there.
Yes, man. Well, as most of us have seen the viral video clip of our sister Shakisha being manhandled, abused, and at the closing of the tussle with the police, sexually assaulted, in my opinion, by the officers who handled her in a way that was so inappropriate that it stripped her clothes off and exposed her to the world. They arrested our sister because she asked a manager of the store for some plastic silverware to take home with her to-go order. They told her no, and it sparked a situation where the manager summoned the police, and they got involved, and they attacked the victim, not the victimizer, which was the manager of the Waffle House.
Wow.
So as a result, of course, we have been from the conception of this problem, the Nation of Islam, and our student minister James and our sister Charmaine there has been on the front line counseling her, auditing our sister, as well as fighting in the city for justice.
Yes.
So they brought me in to the city because the minister, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and our nation has a deeply vested interest
Yes.
in not only justice for our sister, but to make sure that our sister recovers well from this incident that has caused her psychic trauma, if you will.
Yes.
And at the same time, that we do something to galvanize the men of the Alabama area, to let the men know. I went there to let the men know that a badge and a gun does not deactivate your God-given mandate and your divine authority to respect and protect your woman.
Yes.
We should never be there with a camera phone out filming as the police or anyone abuses our women. We should put the camera down, put the phone down, and pick up the predator, pick up the victimizer, and handle the business that men are supposed to handle as it relates to violation of our women.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Brother Nuri. That story is also, you can read it online at finalcall.com, finalcall.com. And Brother Nuri, what is your Twitter handle so that people can follow you and also check out all of the work you did around this and as well other things?
It is Brother Nuri, at Brother Nuri, N-U-R-I. Brother spelled out, Brother Nuri. And Sister Charlene, we would like to say that we were pleased to announce that our sister has been recovering well.
Yes.
And that she's getting her footing and her stability, her self-worth, her confidence, her goal setting, her state of mind is in a good place.
Yes.
By the grace of Almighty God. And we received on Saturday afternoon, after the consciousness was raised from our conversation, we asked the men to give a commitment to respect and protect our women. And we are pleased to announce that there's hundreds of soldiers, Muslim, Christian, non-religious, street people, that put their hand together in a huddle in Mobile, Alabama as men and said, never again will I be there and watch my sister, whoever she is, be mishandled or disrespected ever again. I will lose my life if I have to, but I will never allow this violation to take place again. So we had a good visit by the grace of Almighty God, Allah, and I told the sister, Sister Shakisha, that I thanked her because her personal suffering has sparked a consciousness all over the country and a conversation in the communities of America that has produced a level of commitment from black men to say never again will our women be handled like this by anybody, not a black man, not a white man, not an FBI, not CIA, not the police. No one has the right or authority, no matter what the offense, to mistreat our women, and we're going to step in to make sure it doesn't happen.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Brother Nuri. And, you know, you said it right, no matter who she is. Because it's correct. You know, things, we don't get involved until it affects our mother, our daughter. But if we would just think, if Shakisha was my sister or my daughter or my wife, you know, then a lot of things would be differently. And as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan tells us, when we feel the love for and of one another, you know, then we could do those things you're saying. I'm so glad you brought us that update.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Thank you so much. And we have a quick minute before I ask you to give us your tribute and reflection on Brother Louis Farrakhan Jr. There's something mentioned, and I don't want to gloss over it because in case anyone doesn't understand, you said she's been getting her auditing. And would you just briefly summarize what that is that's helping to bring our sister up by the grace of Allah with everything else that she's receiving?
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you so much.
Yes.
And just to add a little footnote to what you said, Sister Charlene, Sister Shakisha, see, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad started in the 30s, changing the language that black people use when they interacted with one another.
Come on.
And we've deviated from that in the modern time. Now everybody's my guy, my girl, my dog, my bee,
wifey,
or this in this, or this in that, or my BFF, or my wife. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the proper way to have conversation back and forth with one another is to call each other brother and sister.
Yeah.
See, because Sister Charlene, if I'm your brother,
and
you're my sister, my son is your nephew,
come on,
and your daughter is my niece.
Yes.
And whenever we see each other as brothers and sisters, and all of our children in our community as our nephews and our nieces, and every problem they rise is a family problem. So it's not someone else's Sister Shakisha, it is our Sister Shakisha.
Right.
And we graduate when we think as brothers and sisters out of sympathy into what's called empathy.
Yes.
Sympathy means that I don't like that you feel bad. But empathy means that when you feel bad at 108 degrees of pain, I feel 108 degrees of pain with you. So to solve your problem is to solve my problem, and to not solve your problem is to keep myself in a problem. So we automatically act on behalf of one another when we graduate from sympathy to empathy.
Yes, sir.
Auditing is a mental audit. This is a procedure or a process that we learn from a course in Dianetics from the Church of Scientology, where it allows you to be in what would be kind of a listening counseling session, where you can go over painful emotional events you've experienced in the past, and questions are asked that help you to recall and recollect these events accurately. And by going over them over and over again and picking up all the details you can find, what we found is that in the science of the mind, it it extracts the negative charge that's attached to past bad experience. So it becomes just a memory, but it doesn't affect you in a negative way in the present or ever in the future. And our sister has been going through this process, and she has been extracting all of the charge out of not only this situation, but other negative circumstances in her life, and her mind is beginning to be more and more unburdened. She's having more and more access to what is called attention units, or the power of the mind that exists within inside of our head.
Absolutely.
So she's doing a great process, and the sisters are doing a good job looking out for our sister. And the brothers, of course, are making sure that they are safe, secure, and sound, and no harm comes to her as she's challenging the city for justice.
Thank you so much, Brother Nuri. I wanted to make sure that is explained, and thank you for, again, looking after the care and the well-being, along with all of those there in Alabama, for our sister. And, of course, thank you, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, for without you introducing us and just really caring for us. This man, my God, if we really just don't know the grace and mercy and blessings, we really don't realize just how much we all are blessed by Minister Farrakhan. So thank you, Minister Farrakhan. And from me personally, Sister Charlene, I must say thank you, and Mother Khadijah, and to the whole Farrakhan family, and my condolences. And as we get into that, Brother Nuri, before we bring on Brother Akbar, would you give your personal reflection and your tribute to Brother Louis? Because I know mine is that while we did not talk one-on-one and have that type of relationship other than twice, when I asked to interview Brother, once when I was very new writing for The Final Call, and once at another janaza, and I forgot. He was like, "Oh, no, they didn't tell you? I don't do interviews." And he had such a smile and was so gracious. But I said, "Yeah, I forgot, brother." But nonetheless, he sacrifices Brother Jesse Muhammad and I, who handles the minister's social media accounts and the Farrakhan Twitter army. Like he was saying, someone asked, "What did Brother Louis Farrakhan Jr. do?" And he was like, "Man, please, he sacrificed his father." Right? He sacrificed his father. So your reflections and your tribute, real quick, Brother Nuri, before we bring on Brother Akbar.
What a wonderful soul the great Brother Louis Farrakhan Jr. was.
Yes.
What a great and beautiful man he was. He was a brother that no matter who you were, whether you were a high-up official or whether you were what they would consider private soldier believer, he treated everyone the same.
Yeah.
And every time you embraced him, he always did something or said something to you that lifted your spirit several notches from wherever it was.
Notches, come on.
Brother Louis Jr. was a man that, in my humble opinion, was born with a creative mind that thought way beyond the hell that we live in and the wickedness of the world that we suffer.
Come on.
A lot of people don't know, but there's a lot of creative expressions that we practice inside of the Nation of Islam that came directly out of the mind of Louis Jr. to his father,
Wow.
Louis Farrakhan Sr., and were acted upon by the minister and the executive council.
Yeah.
The logo for the Million Family March came from Louis Jr.'s mind.
Come
the
on.
design for the Million More movement came from his mind. That the way he made the circle with MFM, Million Family March.
Fire.
And it looked like Farrakhan in the front with two Muhammads backing him up on the wheel.
Yeah.
All that came out the mind
God.
of his brilliant brother, Louis Farrakhan Jr. And if anybody knows anything, you know this, that the weightiest name on the planet right now is the name Louis Farrakhan.
Yes.
And this brother, Louis Jr., wore the weightiest name on the planet with dignity and pride, and always stayed in a humble spirit, operating in this world, fearing not the enemy on the outside, and always loving the believers on the inside.
Yeah.
What a great, great soldier Brother Louis Jr. Was, and we thank Allah for his creative mind that has put our nation on many, many roads that we're not even aware of, because he never came out and stood and said, hey, I did that.
That's right.
Me.
That's right.
He did it for his nation, and we should do the same. We love him, and we are praying for and asking that Allah will wrap his sacred hedge of protection around the mind, heart, body, and soul of the Farrakhan family. And protect them and lift their spirit. And I'll say this as a second point.
Yes, sir.
The real tragedy of life is not death. The real tragedy of life is what dies in you while you are yet still alive.
Yeah. Brother.
So two things we should learn. Let us, number one, find those Louis Juniors that are in our life, and let's show them we love them right now before they leave. Give them their flowers while they are among us. Two, don't worry about the death of. Be concerned with what dies in you while you're yet still alive. And if we do those two things, I think Allah will bless us to do what's right, to show our love and support for our brother and his family.
Yes, sir. Can somebody transcribe what Brother Nuri just said, please? Somebody listening, please transcribe that. Brother Nuri, that is so profound and that is so beautiful, and thank you so much for that. Yeah, and I want to tell the audience also, part of my visuals here, I'm trying to reach Brother Akbar. We're going to bring him on by phone momentarily. So, Brother Nuri, thank you again for being our Justice Report guest today, and also for your words and your kind words and the reflections you gave on Brother Louis Farrakhan Jr. for the Liberated Sisters TV tribute. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. You're welcome. So I'm going to turn now to Facebook. Everyone, I want to just read some of the comments that we're getting. But if you go to Minister Louis Farrakhan's official Facebook page, and as well as his official Twitter account, you will see some of the reflections. And also just you can scroll through my timeline, and some of the believers have been putting, and also not just the Muslim followers, but people from across the world have been putting up very beautiful commentary about Brother Louis and condolences for the family. And it's just, it was a shock and to know that happened. But as Brother Nuri said, our brother's very beautiful, and a lot of things, he was behind the scenes. He had this big personality, and you will see in the post, people are talking about his smile, his humor, kept everyone laughing. But at the end of the day, also there's that other side. Just help Minister Farrakhan. And a lot of times people want to be out front, and out front is okay. It has its place. There are out front people, but to know the many things that he did, just a snippet Brother Nuri gave. I appreciate that, Brother Nuri. Thank you. And I think we have Brother Akbar. Okay, maybe I'll read some things a little bit later, but you can go to my Facebook page. Let's not delay. The international representative of the Nation of Islam and Minister Louis Farrakhan is here. Brother Akbar. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Kareem, Brother Akbar. How are you?
I am just fine, my sister.
Thank you.
Had some challenges, but I'm doing fine.
Okay, well, that's good to know that you are indeed doing fine. And thank you for being on with us today, Liberated Sisters, and for being our guest to speak about our tribute to Louis Farrakhan Jr. Brother Akbar, let me just first tell people that they can call in to weigh in and make their own tribute as well. 323-293-3375, and the number is going to be up, and it's also on my page. Brother Akbar, I asked you to come on because you're a historian in the Nation of Islam. Brother Akbar, I said, I know that Brother Akbar can talk about Brother Louis Farrakhan Jr. from the early days, and what a loss that we are experiencing, but also what a blessing that we have received from Allah through Mother Khadijah Farrakhan and Minister Farrakhan. Could you tell us? Just start. Look at the beautiful brother, everyone.
Well, first, I want to thank you for inviting me to talk about the minister's first son, Louis Farrakhan Jr.
Yes.
I knew him well from the time that the minister was transferred to New York, as many of our listeners know, and for the younger, newer listeners
yes.
who may not, that when Malcolm X was assassinated, the tragedy of his loss of life, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad transferred Minister Farrakhan to New York. And quite naturally, he brought his family with him.
Mm-hmm.
And first son, who was then 7 years old, came to New York, and I had a chance to be with them and to work with the family and Minister Farrakhan for the next 10 years, until 1975, when we all went different ways on the departure of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But I just want to say this about Louis Jr. You know, he was the soul of the family in terms of one who kept people laughing, quick-witted with his jokes and his humor, always smiling, always showing that he enjoyed life.
Yes, sir.
And even during times of tremendous challenge, he would come out smiling. And so I had this opportunity, excuse me, I have this,
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you. I have this hay fever challenge, but I wanted to mention that, and his 6 beautiful children.
Yes.
So, our condolences once again go out to the family that absolutely is challenged on the loss of his life.
Yes.
And you always search for meanings of things that happen in the predominantly Muslim world, and maybe among some of the Muslims in America. When someone's life is lost during the month of Ramadan, they consider that a great blessing and a great sign of many things.
Yeah.
Because of the events that happen during Ramadan, that are not planned events, like we're planning this for Ramadan, but it happens during the holy month of Ramadan.
Yeah.
And, we lost Louis during the month of Ramadan, and much meaning to it.
Yeah.
This morning, I want to say that on our prayer line, Imam Abdul Malik, who was sitting in for Brother Jamil, who does the Hadith of the day, did a talk on death, and he went to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his son Ibrahim, who he lost at an early age. Talked about after someone passes, the period of, I would say, I hate to use the term mourning, but the period of pain of losing a son. But he do it beautifully. If you have a chance to rehear it, please listen to it.
Yes.
But I do want to say, my sister, I know we have limited time, but I do want to say this, that he was blessed with 6 children.
Yes.
Very beautiful children.
You're okay. You're okay, Brother Akbar. You can take your time. You have 30 minutes. We're going to have a clip of Minister Farrakhan. That'll be about 2.5 minutes. We're going to probably play that at the 45 mark now. But you're okay. Go ahead. Pardon my interruption, but you're okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
When he returned to Allah, he had 5 grandchildren.
Wow.
But, his wife, Lisa, would always say to me, because she was having children, and the 4 were girls, Sophia, Khadija, Miriam, and Holiday, named after her aunt. She said, but Akbar was like you and your first wife, you all had girls, 7 of them, and had them right behind each other.
Yeah.
Always looking for that boy. And so the 5th child for Brother Lewis, and his wife, Lisa, at the time, Louis Farrakhan III. And he tells the story of the controversy of naming him. But Louis Jr. insisted that, this is his first son, and he wants to name him after his grandfather and himself. So his way prevailed, and so he became Louis Farrakhan III, his 5th child.
Wow.
And he had a son after that, Wakil.
That's right.
Who, by the way, will be graduating from high school on this coming Saturday, June the 9th in Washington.
Yeah, congratulations, Brother Wakil. He's the one that dances, because I remember one of the dinners after Savior's Day, one of the babies was going. Go ahead, Brother Akbar.
So I think that blessed family, those 6 children.
Yeah.
And then there's 5 grandchildren. Sophia, his oldest daughter, has 2, and Khadija has 3, giving them 5 grandchildren. So no doubt that he has left his imprint, not with his family, but also in the nation. And as Louis Farrakhan Jr., or as they call him sometimes, Louis Farrakhan II, has an opportunity to travel with his father throughout the world. A great experience. He was the life of things. He always was quick-witted with his jokes and analyzed. And some people wanted to know the work that he did, but he was a great designer, and very few people know that. One of our marches, he designed the logo.
That's right.
And he was just good at it, and he was blessed to be able to do it naturally. He didn't go into any formal training or anything like that, but he was able to do it.
Yeah.
So this is remembering him in the family and what took place in New York. As the brothers and sisters know, especially those in the nation, that the home that Minister Farrakhan moved into when he moved to New York was the home that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in Mosque number 7 purchased for Malcolm and his family. And the home came back to the Nation of Islam, and Minister Farrakhan moved his family into it.
Yes,
but as
sir.
the family began to grow, and they were growing, that house in East Elmhurst became too small, and the minister relocated to New Rochelle, New York. He lived next door to Ozzie Davis and Ruby D.
Yes, sir. I want to ask you, Brother Akbar, as you continue, if you could impress upon us what a sacrifice it is. Louis Farrakhan Jr. and all of the Farrakhan siblings, Mother Khadija, talk about the sacrifice of that family. Talk about Brother Lewis's sacrifice as we could see them, and they're beautiful, they're humble, they're charitable, they're giving, they're kind, but to be in their shoes and to have this light, this man that's their biological father, and share him with the world. Can you talk about the sacrifice and the beauty of a family like that?
Right. My heart always goes out to the family. I love them and respect them for their sacrifice. And as many may know, especially individuals in the position of leadership, of pastors and ministers and political leaders, and activists.
Yes.
It's hard sacrifice, a hard one on their families, because the time and the attention that they could give to the development of their own children and their families, they're busy in the movement.
Yeah.
Give that time to keep things together and keep them moving. And if there's any example of this, it's the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his family, and what that family sacrificed. And I think as they got older, they began to understand it. But when they were young, it was a struggle because they didn't understand it. Why is my father taking me on a picnic, or taking me to the park, or on a hike, or a bike ride? And they asked the question because they could not look into the depth of what he was doing. And it was like a whirl, our whole nation pulling on the person who is the leader with their problems and their marriages, and their school. And he had to serve that community as well as the greater outside community. And I've been blessed by Allah to see this closely. I tried to work with the boys as much as I could, especially Joshua and Lewis, who I would always encourage. And each one of them in their own way began to come to the table to see what they could offer to their father to help him with the tremendous weight that he carried. And every one of them contributed in their own way. But when they were young, they didn't understand it. And sometimes they would, blame their father not being home with them, and mom carrying the weight. But this goes with the weight of leadership and the dedication that Minister Farrakhan had for his work as a helper of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So when his son Louis passed in Phoenix, we all felt the pain of the minister, and we were concerned about it because we love him. And to see him in pain brings pain to many of us. And so I could see it up close, and I probably could talk about it more so than those who looked at it from a distance. And to live in a fishbowl where everybody is looking at you and everybody has certain expectations from you. You have to know what that means and what that is about. And that becomes also a weight. You may want to do something. You have to decide, how will this impact my father's work?
Yeah.
And involved in, and how would my father feel about it? There's nothing wrong with thinking of your parents and your loved ones, how they would feel about a decision that you would make. You don't say, well, later, this is my decision. I don't care what they think. That's sensitive. Because if you know the dedication of the man and his love of people and his tenderness and his concern and his always trying to be a guide and help people when they're in trouble, then you have every right to think about decisions that you make and how it impacts a man like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yeah, and they're privileged, and it's such a blessing. I mean, I love when I hear Brother Joshua, and when they say Dad, and I'm like, yeah, wow, these are great, larger than life figures. But thanks for touching on that, because we can never know. It's hard enough being a son, a daughter, finding your way, and you have your relationship with your parents in a quote unquote normal relationship. But this powerhouse family, right? Our first family. Let's get it right. This is not a lightweight thing that has happened, in the world.
That's right.
This impacts the world. But go ahead, Brother Akbar. These are my sentiments, but this is how I just feel about it. Like, I'm still in a woe kind of position. But go ahead. And someone asked if the janazah, which is on Friday, will be live streamed. We're online. I don't know, to those who are listening in online, but it is this Friday at Mosque Mariam. The Nation of Islam's official statement is out. You can go to NOI.org. Also, as you continue, Brother Akbar, safe travels. We're praying for everyone who is traveling in to make it safely and to return home. And just everyone keep the family in prayer. But go ahead, Brother Akbar.
Thank you. Yes, it is Friday. And the question came up this morning, I am not sure, and perhaps as the day moves on and as the family meets and makes decisions, that information will come out, whether it will be live streamed or not.
Yeah.
But it will be 3 o'clock, as you said, at Mosque Mariam.
Yeah, yeah.
It just so happened that we lost another Lewis.
Yes.
The family, and his service will be the next day at the Life Center, 119th Street near Halstead in Chicago. And as it is planned now, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan will do the obituary for Attorney Louis Myers, a dear friend and a brother. He's like a member of the nation.
Yes.
And our condolences go out to his wife Tina and his son Louis Myers Jr.
Yes. And Brother Akbar, I want to add, I wanted to add something to that. Here in Los Angeles as well, right out of Mosque 27, we want to send our prayers and condolences to Brother Stephen Muhammad and his wife, Sister Aliyah Muhammad, and their family in the passing of their mother, Sister Lena Echoes, a beautiful, bright spirit. So we have three ceremonies or, services, janazas in the nation this weekend coming up. But let's continue, Brother Akbar. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no problem. And, as we are born into the world, surely we will die and leave the world. God has ordained it that way.
Mm-hmm.
When you get older, when you're 21, you never think about the death,
So didn't.
Actually, you don't think about it.
Nope.
But as you get older, you can think about it. And even when you're younger, you don't even talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But as you get older, you can. And you can see that God brings men and women into the world, and he gives them this time on the earth for them to make the contribution that comes from them and to focus on the reality of life and what they bring to the table, especially to a people of struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why you look at the lives. I want to say in the Muslim world that I've been blessed to travel in extensively. When they have a janazah prayer, they have it. They don't have the kind of ceremony, I'm going to use that word, that we have in our community in North America. And I often tell my brothers from the Muslim world, whether it is Indonesia or Malaysia or Africa or the Middle East, that your experience is different from ours. And our expression on the death of our loved ones, our parents, our children, is a little different from your expression. There is a root to it in West Africa because after they have the janazah, 40 days later, they have like a tribute to the one who has passed away, and everybody gathers. But at the, we call it the farewell ceremony, then we say the words that tell stories about the life of that one who has gone on. If a parent is burying a child, that is a hard one. That's not easy. It's not easy. It's not something that you can say, well, there is life and there's death. God has ordained it. Alhamdulillah, I accept the will of God. Yes, all of that is true, but you're also a human being.
Yeah.
And you lose a loved one, it's like, as I mentioned on the prayer line, it's like a hole in your soul, and it's very difficult to fill that hole. Only God can make you feel whole again because you turn to him in this kind of hour. But grieving for a lost one, it goes with the territory. There's nothing bad about it. We don't cry or be emotional at funerals and so forth. It's easy for you to say it.
Yeah.
But to live in that experience,
inside,
you could be crying inside. Your soul is longing for that one to be with you that is now out of your life permanently in death until you meet them on the other side. So this is a challenge for every one of us. And it comes to our nation when it strikes into the family of the leader of the nation of Islam and his pain.
Yes.
And we feel that pain.
Yeah, and Mother, Minister Farrakhan and Mother Khadijah, I just keep thinking about them, and I just keep seeing Mother's face keeps coming to mind. Brother Akbar, if we may, and thank you for that. I just love this picture, Brother Lewis. This is great. But let me share some things online that people have been posting, all week. The sentiments have been so beautiful, and the photographs, of people in the special moments they were able to take with him, which I'm going to start doing that. I usually don't because, first of all, we're working, but sometimes I think it's an imposition. But I'm going to start doing that because I'm loving the pictures, and now they have those, but we, and you can cling to the moment. Sister Carol Muhammad out of Phoenix, Brother Akbar, put a post up, may Allah be pleased with our beautiful brother. So most of those are going to say that, almost all of them, right? You were always full of life. We were blessed to have been touched with your presence. Our prayers, condolences, and love go out. Let me make sure the volume is down here. They go out to the family. And he was at the opening of Blue Seas Express. I think this was in Phoenix. And there was a wonderful celebration, and they all had a good time, Sister Carol said. And the sisters are, and it's on Facebook. It's on my Facebook page. The sisters are dancing very modestly, right? Covered. And Brother Lewis, I didn't know that was going to happen. They panned over, and he's, enjoying himself. And it's just good to have those things, of him. Let's see. I want to go to another one, Brother Akbar, just if you allow me to do a few. Yeah. Well, now they're going to articles, but yeah, they're going to articles. Someone said that I wish that Brother Louis Farrakhan Jr. could have received all of the love he is being shown today while he was living. He was always genuine to me, my family, and people in general. This person says, in a world full of judgmental and self-righteous people, they feel that they wish he would have always received the love. One thing I know is this. We can assume that certain things, we can assume people didn't receive, but unless we're right there, how do we know? Unless we've spoken to the person, how do we know? I just know that if Brother Louis Farrakhan Jr. never said one single word to Sister Charlene Muhammad, and that's why I asked you to touch on it, Brother Akbar, the sacrifice, right? The sacrifice that he and those his siblings make every day so that Minister Farrakhan can do what he does. Like their father became the world. You know how we can get, Brother Akbar? Don't let some children be playing, or, a dad always takes you around to the store, picks you up, buys you something, and your cousin is visiting. And then, the dad's taking both the boys. There's going to be some little jealousy there. It happens. I think you touched on it a little bit. So just imagine like the whole world. So yeah, the sacrifice is great, and that's personal for me. And that's a brother. Brother Akbar, let's hear you talk some more about Brother Louis Jr. before we hear from Minister Farrakhan.
Okay. I was in Phoenix.
Yes.
And I know the sentiment of my sisters. We had a program there.
Yeah.
Put on by Sister Rashida for the elders.
Yeah.
And I was to speak, and Sister Minister Ava was there.
Yes.
And he was there. And when I saw his smiling face when I came in the morning, it warmed my heart. It really warmed me. Because knowing him since he was 7 years old, and watching him grow up to be a man of 60 years old, and for him to bring 6 beautiful children into the world, very smart. One of his daughters, Miriam, who is going to be a doctor, who's training in Cuba.
Yes.
And I thought about it when I got the word that Louis had left us. I thought about his face. I thought about him in the university in New York. The director, Clark, we called him, Muhammad Sadiq now, Imam Muhammad Sadiq out of Indianapolis, India, was his principal. And he took special care because of the very thing that you said, of ministers' children who all attended the school.
Yeah.
He took special care with them because he knew the sacrifice that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was making and had to make to hold that tremendous mosque that we had in New York. We were blessed with nearly 3,000 members in the mosque in New York. And the the minister was the centerpiece, because when he came there, he had to rebuild the nation in New York because of the death of Malcolm, and we being accused and responsible for the death of Malcolm, our people had sort of backed away from us. So the time that a normal family going home for dinner, eating with your family, that you would expect a father to do, who had 9 children at that time, then that wasn't possible. They made the sacrifice of sacrificing their father, but they were not at the age and mature enough to say it the way I'm saying it now. We sacrificed our father so that you could have the voice of Minister Farrakhan to put us on the straight path and to keep us as Muslims and to teach us and to grow us. They couldn't see it at that time. They were young. All know that they were missing their father at the dinner table, taking them out to a park.
Yeah.
So I know something about that, saying I don't know everything, but I know enough to be able to see it. And then someone like Imam Sadiq, who he's called now Director Clark at that time of our university, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave him that job. Minister Farrakhan asked for him, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad confirmed the appointment that he could do it. But he acted like a father to them. He was always helping them, and he had to reprimand them at times, and they would go home and tell their dad what they did. But the minister understood and appreciated it. And the minister being the kind of person, a great, great listener.
Yeah.
He listens for both sides, and he loves both sides. So he's listening for your pain, and he's listening for the position of the other side.
Yeah.
That is definitely Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yeah.
But I wanted to mention that because those of us who grew up and were under Minister Farrakhan in New York, we experienced all of this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, Brother Akbar, for that. And the reason I bring that up is because in that, the overarching theme I want to get at is the beauty of the sacrifice. You know, the beauty of the sacrifice. Sacrifice is painful, but look at the beauty that they are instrumental in bringing forth, you know, like a new world of Islam. So, Brother Akbar, before we go on, we wrap the show, I want to let everyone know that today's show is brought to us by the Build program. This is more commonly known as the Professional Community Intervention Training Institute. Brother Akil Bashir and the Professional Community Intervention Training Institute, also known as the Build program, is our show sponsor for today. You can reach me on Facebook, direct message me to find out how you can be a part of bringing Liberated Sisters TV each month. But thank you so much to PCIT. Thank you so much from Liberated Sisters. Brother Akbar, stand by. Before we wrap, I just want people to hear from Minister Farrakhan. This clip that we are about to play is from his May 27th message on masking the synagogue of Satan. This is Liberated Sisters TV. I'm Sister Charlene Muhammad. On the phone is Brother Akbar Muhammad, and this is our tribute to Louis Farrakhan Jr. Stay tuned.
So what does God say? Those who refused to submit to the God of Moses and Aaron, they were bitten with cockatrices and fiery serpents. And the messenger told me that the fiery serpent means angry white people. Are they biting you now? Are they stopping you in the street and talking to you like you are some dog? Get down on the ground. Look at you. Well, I know my rights. And Justice Taney said you don't have no rights that a white man is bound to respect. And you're going to learn that. So the whipping winds, Mr. Trump is stirring them up. And the whipping on you is going to keep going until you say to God, I'm ready, God, to obey you. I know you want what is best for me. And if you want to give me land that we can be free, I'm with you. They keep playing the words of Dr. King. He said, I've been to the mountaintop. I have seen the promised land. Not sky. I may not get there with you, but we as a people are going to get to the promised land. The next day, our brother was assassinated, but his last words, I'm not fearing any man. You're going to have to lose your fear and fear only God. Now,
today, Mark.
Welcome back. I get caught into Minister Farrakhan, start teaching. I zone in and I zone out. Brother Akbar, are you there?
I'm right here.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Brother Akbar. I would like to ask you if you would give your final remarks here on this show regarding our tribute to Brother Louis Farrakhan Jr.
Yes, I want to say that I'm working on my second book. You know, at that same lecture, Minister Farrakhan announced my book, Africa in the World.
Yes.
My 12-year experience of living in Africa and representing the nation. But the book that I'm working on now, Traveling Through Life in the Time, is my autobiography. And in that autobiography, quite naturally, Minister Farrakhan, I've known him before 65, but really got to know him in 65 when he came to New York, and has worked with him ever since.
Yeah.
And definitely plan to cover aspects of his beautiful family that came to New York with him. I mean, and what they did and meant to him. And in that, now I have to write in Louis Farrakhan Jr.
Yes.
And I just want to say a side note. I know across the country I'm getting these calls about my book, and I'm not able to distribute it in every corner. But those on the West Coast who hear you, if you go to Akbar's Books, just Akbar's with an S, books with an S.com, it'll tell you how to order the book. But I want to thank you very much, and I made note in case I have to talk again on Louis Jr. May Allah bless him for his work that he did among us.
Yes.
May Allah open the gates of paradise for him.
Yes.
Allah console this hole now in the family and fill that hole with appreciation of his tremendous life.
Ameen.
You,
yes, Ameen. Thank you, Brother Akbar. And Brother Akbar, you're such a great guest. You're just so seasoned, so professional. You know, I didn't even have to transition to that. You just already know what to do. So thank you for giving us the information on your book. And Brother Akbar, may Allah bless you as you travel. I'm not sure where you are, but all throughout your travels. And, you know, you've been a big brother, mentor, so much to me personally, and also for Liberated Sisters all along the way. So I thank you so much for coming on to talk about Brother Louis Farrakhan Jr. And again, thank you so much, Brother Akbar.
Thank you for the opportunity. May
Yes.
Allah bless you. Ramadan Mubarak.
Likewise. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
That's our show for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in online. And again, let's keep prayers and condolences and keep Minister Farrakhan, Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, the Farrakhan family in our prayers. And again, as well as the family of Brother Attorney Lewis Myers, who will be buried the following day, June 8th, this Saturday, and as well the family of Mrs. Lena Echoes, Brother Stephen Muhammad, and Sister Aaliyah Muhammad's mother. Blessings to you all. I'm Sister Charlene Muhammad. I want to say also thank you, Brother Nuri Muhammad, for bringing us the Justice Report and your reflections on Brother Louis Farrakhan Jr. Thank you, Sister Felicia, the Poetess Morris and Morris Media Studios, for having us here. I would like for you to please read the Final Call cover story. It's regarding a case on Black identity extremism, and that cover story you can read at finalcall.com. Finalcall.com. That story talks about a brother that was arrested under this federal charge of Black identity extremism. That is something I won't get into here, except to say that the FBI COINTEL program, people are saying it's a remnant of that, and but it's 2018 Trump style, right? So read the Final Call, subscribe to the digital edition at finalcall.com, and I would like to remind you, the minister, here's the Final Call cover story, Minister Louis Farrakhan's 44-song box set, Let's Change the World. You can get that at lctwmusic.com. Minister Farrakhan has many artists featured on there: Shaka Khan, Snoop, Common, Denise Williams, Damian Marley, Rick Ross, many more. And you can get that at lctwmusic.com. Liberated Sisters, you can catch us this Friday on Radio Justice Los Angeles, rjla.org, and also on June 23rd on 90.7 FM, kpfk.org in Los Angeles. Thank you again for tuning in. This is Liberated Sisters TV. If it's impacting our community or can uplift us as a people, let's talk about it. Peace.